What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Kid Tosh. Today we're going to be recapping yesterday's playoff games. It was day one of the 2017 NBA playoffs. I know I did say that I was going to do this thing where I reacted to my old predictions for what the seeding is going to be that I made before the season. But I tried that and my equipment is all screwed up and I can't do it. My camera's just all laggy and shit, and it just won't. It's not quality. I'm not gonna upload that. I'm just kind of scrap the idea. So basically, instead, I'm gonna try to do this thing every day where I just recap yesterday's playoff games, my reflection. What do they mean in the bigger picture? What do all these games mean? Biggest headlines from each game. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into the first game. We had the Pacers in Cleveland for game one, a 2-7 matchup. This one went right down to the wire. Not a lot of defense played in this game at all. The field goal percentages for both teams were super high. We got to see Lance Stephenson off the bench just put in a ton of work. I mean, this guy was lighting it up. I mean, he had one of his best games in years because he hasn't been doing a lot until he came back with the Pacers, and he's making a name again like he did before. And like I said, this game went down to the wire. It was crazy. It was a great start to the NBA playoffs. In the end, though, the Cavs held on. CJ Miles missed the last shot of this one, which would have given them the lead at the end. We got to see playoff Paul George on full display. LeBron James in his 200th playoff game was fantastic. This was a great game. The fact that it was this close, the fact that Indiana could have held on and almost won it, I'm trying to think, because a lot of people, it seems like there are two sides to this Cavs idea. One side is saying the Cavs, they'll just flip the switch when it comes playoff time. The other side is saying the Cavs aren't the same as they used to be and they're just not that good. There's two pieces of the puzzle here. Now, which one is correct? Which one is right? Which one is wrong? Are the Cavs actually bad? Or did they flip the switch? Because they won the game, but they easily could have lost this game, and then we probably would have been hearing all of this shit about, oh yeah, that's how you know that it's different this year. But since they won the game, we're not hearing that. My total impression is the fact that I think that Cleveland squeaked away this game one. I have a feeling that they're just going to run away with the rest of the series. And that's unfortunate because I really want to see Indiana put up a huge fight. I want to see Lance and PG go at LeBron James and the Cavs in this series. But I just don't think so. Because last year, when the Pistons played the Cavs at the 1-8 seed, they should have won the first game. They didn't. The Cavs ran away with the series. I think now they got a win under their belt. They know what they're capable of. They're going to come out. They're going to be just as good next game. And I think Indiana played really well. Just they collapsed, I think, down the stretch on that last possession. And I wouldn't say collapse just because, that wasn't a terrible shot by CJ Miles. It was a makeable shot. Definitely not the best shot you want and not the guy you want shooting it, really. Cavs squeak it out. But yeah, I still think, what did I say? Did I say, I think I said Cavs in 5. Yeah, I'm still sticking with that. I think Pacers will get one game at home. I don't see more than that. The Cavs are just so good in the playoffs. I don't know if this is playoff Cavs. I don't think this team's as good as it used to be. But I do think that they're good enough to beat the entire East. Now, on to game 2. This game was very fun. Milwaukee in Toronto, the 3-6 matchup. Toronto, I had high expectations for Toronto, and I'm saying this. I'm going to be saying this a lot. Milwaukee is probably the most slept-on team in the NBA playoffs this year. We're not hearing anything about Milwaukee's chances to win this series. I don't know anybody that has Milwaukee winning this series, unless it was after the game yesterday. Because before the playoffs started, everybody was counting them out. Everyone's saying, okay, they're not experienced enough. The Raptors, they got a full team now. But it seems to happen every year with the Raptors where it doesn't matter how good they are in the season. They're just not that good in the playoffs. And it happened last year. It happened the 2 years before. And it looks like it's happening again this year, and it's weird because they picked up Ibaka. Their guys are supposed to be better. Lowry and DeRozan both having their best seasons of their careers this season. But Kyle Lowry with just 4 points, 2 of 11 from the field. Shocking. And I was noticing when watching this one that they wouldn't let Kyle Lowry do his thing. They wouldn't let him get into the paint. Every time he got into the paint, he'd shy away. Wouldn't want to take it. He was settling for perimeter jump shots, which isn't terrible because he's a good shooter. But he wasn't able to make plays. He wasn't able to get himself going because he couldn't get inside. He couldn't get layups. DeRozan was trying. They were trying, but man, That Milwaukee team is so long and athletic. How many blocks they got? DeRozan had several opportunities where it looked like it was a wide open lane, and he just got his stuff swatted multiple times by Maker, by Giannis. And speaking of Giannis, man, this man single-handedly dominated this game in almost every facet of the game. I mean, offensively, defensively. I mean, he was killing them in transition. Like I say, every time Giannis gets out in transition, it's over. You cannot stop him. You just let him go. So that's the best bet. If you try to foul him, he'll and one your ass, and he'll make you look silly, or he'll put you on a poster. You can try. You're not gonna succeed at that. In transition, this is probably the best player in the NBA. In transition, the one guy that you do not want to see coming down full speed at you is Giannis. Like I saw earlier, I saw it fucking in this game. Lowry was back and Giannis was attacking. Like, it's over. Lowry's not gonna stop Giannis. No one is gonna stop Giannis. There's no one in this league that can in transition. I don't think. Even the best defenders would have trouble with Giannis. Even a Kawhi or a Draymond would have trouble with Giannis in transition. Okay, that's how lethal he is there. So they let Giannis get in transition a bunch. And he killed them. And defensively, the Bucks were fantastic. They forced DeRozan to have a bad shooting night. DeRozan, I haven't seen good playoff play from DeRozan yet. Wondering where that's at. And Kyle Lowry was infinitely worse. These guys, no one played well. Ibaka played well. I'll say that for the Raptors. But they're two leaders, that are supposed to be carrying them to this postseason berth, and to their aspirations, which were supposed to be the finals. They weren't there. DeRozan put up some points, but he shot 33% from the field. Most of his shots from the free throw line, wasn't able to get going really. And he just wasn't really a factor. Kyle Lowry was the opposite of a factor. The Raptors don't look very good right now. Playoff Raptors are not a pretty sight, I've noticed, and they're going up against the Bucks team that definitely can win this series. I don't know. I don't even know who I think's gonna win anymore in this series. I don't. I could see Toronto coming back, bouncing back, and winning it. I wouldn't be surprised because Toronto hung with the Bucks. Through the first half, it looked like they had control, and then it just slipped out in the second half. But I could definitely see Toronto win this series. I think I still stick with Toronto, and I'm gonna push it to 7 games. I think I had 6 games. But yeah, Bucks impressed me in that first game. Now, Memphis and San Antonio, not a lot to say about this, but the greatness of Kawhi Leonard in this game. What was he, 11 for 14, 32 points. The Spurs won by 30 points. It was over in the third quarter. It was incredible because the Spurs were actually down like 13 in the first quarter, but completely bounced back, and just took the game from Memphis. It was incredible to watch. They went on some huge runs. Kawhi, I've said it many times. I'm gonna say it again. I think he's the second best player in the league. And it's just that type of stuff that he's doing. I don't know anybody else that could win by 30 in the playoffs while starting out down and then drop over 30 points on 11 of 14 shooting. LeBron James probably could, but I don't know a lot of other guys that could do that. I mean, that's incredible. And the defensive work too. Throw that in, just ridiculous. Now, yeah, there wasn't a lot to say about that. The Spurs, I had them winning, I think, in 5 games. I should probably just stay true to that because that seems pretty likely at this point. Now, Jazz Clippers. This one was fun, okay? This one, and it also wasn't fun because in the first 10 seconds of this game, Rudy Gobert went down with what they say he sprained his knee or hyperextended his knee or something like that. And he didn't return for the game, and they don't even know if he's going to return for this series. So immediately when I saw that, I was thinking, all right, look, there's no way. The Clippers have the Jazz have no chance because that's their guy. He does so much for them. He's their rebounding, he's their defense, he's everything for this team, and he goes down. The Jazz, they don't stand a chance. The Jazz proved me wrong. The Clippers only scored 95 points in this game. And the Jazz stayed with the Clippers all game. They grinded. I mean, they did what they do. That's a great solution to losing a guy like Gobert. You got to grind out offensive possessions, take a long time. Don't let yourself get caught off guard by a team like the Clippers. And I'm very surprised by the Clippers only scoring 95 points by not being better in this game. It was ridiculous. I felt like Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and DJ played pretty good overall. But JJ Redick was nowhere to be found throughout this game. Their bench, they didn't get a lot from their bench besides Jamal Crawford. it was like, you know, Chris Paul didn't score enough in the first half either. They could have gotten out and led this game if he was more aggressive. Blake Griffin played pretty well overall, but they collapsed down the stretch. And Joe Johnson, ISO Joe, doing his thing at the end of this game. Chris Paul hits a crazy shot. No timeout for the Jazz, no problem. I mean, they had a timeout, but they got this mismatch where Joe Johnson was, I think he was guarded by Blake Griffin, and Joe Johnson got a great shot. I mean, props to Joe. You don't see this very often. On a buzzer-beating look, you do not see a player get to the rim for a layup like this or a floater. Like, you usually see a contested jump shot almost every time, or a three or something like that. You never see a shot like this, which I thought was fantastic. That's great. Everybody wants to be the hero and take these crazy jump shots, usually. And that's probably not a knock on anyone, but, you know, they probably can't get... The defense usually is really good. But Joe Johnson, he's crafty. He's a veteran player. He knows what he's doing. He gets inside and scores. Buzzer beater. It was great. It was crazy to watch. This one went under the wire too. So overall, I think we had a pretty good first day to the playoffs. I think it was a very good and enjoyable day of basketball. Can't wait for tomorrow. Or today. Fuck am I saying? Get to see my Bulls play. TNT Bulls all day. Yeah, so... That's what happened. Now, what do I think about the Jazz-Clippers series? What do I think is going to happen here? Because I said Clippers in 7 initially, and then Gobert goes down with his injury. And now I'm like, well, okay, the Clippers are probably going to take this. But then they win game 1. So now it's like, well, I don't know when Gobert is coming back. The Clippers, they're a wild card. They were on a 7-game winning streak coming into this, and they lost to a team without Rudy Gobert in the Jazz. I don't understand. Can you bounce back from this? It doesn't look like it. I mean, but hey, it's game 1. You can turn anything around here. So I think I'll stick with the Clippers in 7. I think I will. The Jazz, they played phenomenal in this game. I don't know if they're keeping that up. Maybe I should go Clippers in 6. No, I don't think so. The Clippers aren't going to win 4 and 5. I seriously doubt it. All right, so I'll give Clippers 4 and 6. I'll give them it in 7. But they're playing a dangerous game here. They're playing with fire right here. I mean, you can't be losing games like this, especially when you're at home, to a team without Rudy Gobert and the Jazz. Like, you just can't be doing that. Yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Also heard the devastating news about Isaiah Thomas's sister. Prayers out to him and his family. That's terrible. I hope he's in a good mindset for today. Even though I'm a Bulls fan, this shit's bigger than basketball. It's a terrible tragedy. That's heartbreaking. Anyway, yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Playoffs were amazing. That being said, we got 4 games today, which I'm gonna plan to do a recap tomorrow on these 4 games today. Yeah, stay tuned. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Comment who you think is gonna win today. Subscribe if you're new, and I'm out. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.